Neighbor called cops claiming I trespassed, then I found her gazebo built on my land. Have you ever trusted a neighbor, only to discover they're staking a claim on your land? It all began with a phone call that left me stunned. I was elbow deep in potting a new rose bush, dirt smudged across my face, when my phone rang. It was the local police. "Mr. Carter," the officer said, voice crackling with protocol. "We've had a complaint from your neighbor, Mrs. Elaine Harper. She says you've been trespassing on her property." My shovel hit the ground with a thud. Trespassing? Me? I'd lived on this quiet suburban street for a decade, keeping to myself, tending my garden, and exchanging polite waves with Elaine, the self-proclaimed queen of the neighborhood. Her pristine lawn and towering gazebo were the talk of the block, but I'd never set foot near them. Confusion turned to anger as I stammered, "There must be a mistake." The officer suggested I sort it out with her, but the accusation stung like a wasp. Why would she lie? I marched to Elaine's front door, heart pounding, ready to clear the air. She answered in a floral dress, her smile as sharp as a blade. "Oh, Daniel, I saw you sneaking around my gazebo last night," she said, clutching her pearls. "I had to call the police. I won't tolerate intruders." My jaw dropped. I'd been at home, binge-watching a sci-fi series, nowhere near her precious gazebo. "Elaine, I wasn't there," I insisted. "This is absurd." Her eyes narrowed, and she snapped, "Don't lie to me. I know what I saw." The door slammed in my face, leaving me fuming on her porch. Something was off. Elaine's accusation wasn't just a misunderstanding felt calculated. Back home, I couldn't shake the unease. Why would she fabricate such a story? I started digging, not in my garden, but into property records. I pulled out my deed and compared it to the county's plat map. My eyes widened as I traced the boundary line between our lots. The edge of Elaine's pristine lawn and her beloved gazebo jutted a full 3 feet onto my property. I double-checked the coordinates, heart racing. There was no mistake. That gazebo, her pride and joy, was an illegal encroachment. She wasn't just accusing me of trespassing, she was the one trespassing on my land. The next morning, I hired a licensed surveyor to confirm the boundary. As he hammered stakes into the ground, Elaine stormed out, her face a storm cloud. "What's this nonsense?" she shrieked, waving her arms. "You're harassing me." The surveyor, a grizzled man named Tom, calmly showed her the map. "Ma'am, your gazebo's on Mr. Carter's property, by about 3 feet. Elaine's mouth opened, then closed, like a fish out of water. "That's impossible," she sputtered. "This is my land." Tom shrugged. "The survey doesn't lie." I crossed my arms, feeling a surge of vindication. "Elaine, you called the cops on me for trespassing, but you've been using my property for years." Then came the twist I didn't see coming. As Elaine floundered, her teenage son, Jake, appeared at the fence, earbuds dangling. "Mom, just tell him," he muttered, avoiding my gaze. Elaine shot him a look that could have melted steel. "Jake, hush." But Jake kept talking, his voice low but clear. "She knew, Mr. Carter. When Dad built the gazebo 5 years ago, the contractor warned her it might be over the line. She told him to build it anyway." My blood boiled. Elaine had known all along. This wasn't an innocent mistake. She'd deliberately claimed my land, and now she was deflecting by accusing me of trespassing. The confrontation escalated fast. Elaine's composure cracked, and she jabbed a finger at me. "You're blowing this out of proportion, Daniel. It's just a few feet. Be a good neighbor and let it go." I laughed, incredulous. "A good neighbor? You called the police on me for something I didn't do." I pulled out my phone, scrolling to the officer's number. "Let's see what the cops think about your trespassing." Elaine's face paled, but she doubled down. "Go ahead, call them. I'll tell them you've been harassing me for weeks." It was a standoff, each of us daring the other to blink. But I wasn't backing down. Not this time. I called the police, and within 20 minutes, 2 officers arrived. Elaine launched into her performance, tears welling as she claimed I was bullying her over a tiny mistake. I stayed calm, handing the surveyor's report to the officers. "This shows her gazebo is on my property," I said. "And her son just admitted she knew about it years ago." Jake, slouched by the fence, nodded reluctantly when the officers questioned him. The lead officer, a no-nonsense woman named Martinez, turned to Elaine. "Ma'am, the survey is clear. You're encroaching on Mr. Carter's land. You'll need to address this, or he can pursue legal action." Elaine's tears dried up fast, replaced by a scowl. "This is outrageous," she hissed, but her voice lacked conviction. The officers left, advising us to resolve it civilly, but I knew Elaine wouldn't budge without a fight. I contacted a real estate attorney who sent Elaine a formal letter demanding she remove the gazebo within 30 days or face a lawsuit for trespass and damages. The neighborhood buzzed with gossip apparently. Elaine had a history of boundary disputes, bullying other neighbors into compliance with her charm or tears. But I wasn't charmed, and I wasn't crying. I installed a no trespassing sign facing her yard, a pointed reminder of her hypocrisy. Elaine's downfall came swiftly. She ignored the letter, so my attorney filed for an injunction. At the court hearing, Elaine's defense unraveled. She claimed ignorance, but Jake's testimony, combined with the surveyor's report, painted a damning picture. The judge, unimpressed by her theatrics, ordered her to remove the gazebo at her expense and pay my legal fees. As she left the courtroom, her head bowed. I felt no pity, only relief. The gazebo came down the next week, leaving a patch of torn-up grass where her perfect lawn once stood. Her reputation as the neighborhood's queen was in tatters, and whispers followed her at every mailbox. Standing in my yard, I surveyed the reclaimed strip of land. It wasn't just about the 3 feet, it was about standing up to someone who thought they could bully their way onto what wasn't theirs. I planted a row of sunflowers along the boundary, their bright faces a quiet triumph. Elaine avoided me now, her curtains drawn tight. Jake, though, gave me a sheepish wave one day, and I nodded back. He wasn't his mother. This fight taught me something vital. Boundaries, whether physical or personal, matter. Elaine's accusation was a smokescreen, a desperate bid to keep her secret buried. But truth has a way of breaking through, like roots cracking concrete. I won't let anyone walk over me again, and I'll keep my deed close, just in case. What would you have done in my shoes? Was I too harsh? Or was Elaine's comeuppance deserved? Share your thoughts. I am curious to hear where you stand on this backyard battle.